Today's news highlights 20250716. Date July 16, 2025. July 16, 114, Republic of China. Time cutoff time, 1500 hours on the same day. News highlights Lin Fangyu, the former president of National Taiwan University Hospital, and Ma Ziping, a famous mouthful, have successively revealed that they are suffering from dementia, which has aroused social concern. Ma Ziping revealed that he began to lose his memory 10 years ago, which even affected the performance of the show, and refused the invitation to the puzzle program. He speculated that surgical anesthesia and hypoxia in the brain were the main causes, and shared 5 ways to prevent memory loss: brain, exercise, healthy eating, social interaction, and continuous learning. He also appealed to the elderly to use anesthesia with caution, avoid staying up late and sleeping pills, reduce stress, and maintain a good mood to prevent the occurrence of dementia. News highlights Fruits are highly nutritious, but eating too much can also cause fat accumulation, blood sugar fluctuations, and insulin resistance. Functional medicine physician Lou Boren recommends that adults consume 2 to 3 servings of fruit a day, each about the size of a fist. Preference should be given to low GI fruits such as blueberries, kiwi fruit, guava, tomatoes, and avocados, and avoid eating them on an empty stomach or immediately after meals. Proper intake can reduce the metabolic burden and give full play to health benefits such as antioxidant, heart care, and blood sugar stabilization, remembering that quality is better than quantity and mastery of moderation are the 2 most important principles. News highlights Mung bean is a good product for summer heat, with the effect of clearing heat and detoxifying, lowering blood lipids and removing moisture. The difference between the common oil mung bean and edamame mung bean on the market lies in the taste and use. The oil mung bean has an oily appearance, which is suitable for making bean paste and bean sprouts. Hairy mung bean powdery skin, easy to cook dense sand, suitable for cooking mung bean soup. Experts suggest that mung beans are frozen first, kept warm and reboiled, and finally added sugar. The nutritional value of the 2 is similar, and the choice is determined according to the needs of the cuisine. News highlights the U.S. Department of Commerce has launched a national security investigation under Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act into imports of unmanned aerial systems and polysilicon products, fearing that China is driving down prices and monopolizing supply chains through subsidies and predatory trade practices. If the results of the investigation confirm that there is a threat to national security, the president may impose tariffs. Chinese companies such as DJI dominate the drone market, while polysilicon accounts for more than 80% of U.S. imports. The U.S. move will help nurture local industries, reduce dependence on China, and strengthen supply chain security. News highlights in response to the controversy over the fraternity seat, the Legislative Yuan passed the 3rd reading on the 15th to the amendment to Article 53 of the Law on the Protection of the Rights and Interests of the Physically and Mentally Handicapped, changing the name of the fraternity seat to the priority seat, and the applicable object was changed to those with actual needs, regardless of the elderly, weak, women and children. In the future, 15% of the seats should be reserved as priority seats for public transportation, and unified labeling and advocacy should be strengthened. Both the Vigilante Group and the Ministry of Health and Welfare support this change, hoping to rebuild the spirit of mutual help in society and make it more safe for people with hidden needs. News highlights the U.S. agreed to NVIDIA's resumption of exports of lower performance H20 AI chips to China, provided it did not sell top-of-the-line technology. Commerce Secretary Lutnick said that allowing China to use 4th-class chips would maintain its dependence on American technology. The decision is related to the negotiations on a rare earth deal between China and the United States and will help weaken Hawaii's competitiveness. White House advisors emphasized that the policy is subtle and reasonable, hoping to consolidate the US AI dominance through chip exports, while preventing other countries from turning to the Chinese camp. News highlights after a busy day, we often inadvertently get caught in the eyes of our mobile phones, and we want to relax for a few minutes, but hours pass with a swipe. In fact, there are many more fulfilling options: preparing an elaborate dinner, developing new skills, reading aloud, enjoying a show, in-depth conversation, relaxing with board games, journaling, exercising, listening to podcasts or taking a night walk. These activities can not only pass the time, but also enrich the soul and make life more in-depth and connected. Try to put down your phone and embrace real leisure again. News highlights NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang announced that the US has approved an export license to allow NVIDIA to sell the H20 AI chip designed for the mainland market to Chinese mainland, ending the previous ban, and is expected to accelerate shipments and recover revenue lost due to export restrictions. This move symbolizes a change in the policy attitude of the United States, which is beneficial to NVIDIA and its foundry partners TSMC, Hon Hai, Inventec and other related companies. NVIDIA also plans to launch new RTX Pro chips that comply with regulations, which is expected to drive growth in the coming quarters. News highlights Morgan Stanley expects iPhone production to reach 50 million units in the 3rd quarter, up nearly 8% quarter-on-quarter, and iPhone 17 will begin assembly and shipment in August. iPad production was about 14 million units due to the back-to-school promotion, a 3% decrease in the quarter. Optimistic about TSMC, Hon Hai, Li Guang and other 6 major Taiwan manufacturers, all give better than the market ratings. TSMC is the first choice, with the target price of 1,288 yuan. TSMC will mass produce the 2nm process in the second half of the year, and the first customer to be introduced is Apple. Hon Hai benefited from the growth of the cloud and iPhone 17 series, with the target price of 200 yuan. Li Guang benefited from the demand for optical components in AR and AI applications, with the target price of 2,800 yuan. News highlights: in the case of Huida's entry into Bice Hike, the Taipei city government was willing to terminate the contract with Shinkong Life, but Vice Mayor Li Sichuan said that Zhenshao did not agree, and the key was the condition. Zhenshao has paid about 4.4 billion yuan in royalties and 600 million to 700 million yuan in rent on the 2 plots of land in T17 and T18, totaling more than 5 billion yuan, and the termination conditions are still subject to negotiation. Huida needs to include 3 plots of land, only T17 and T18 are insufficient, and the only option is to terminate the contract by consensus. In the future, if the contract is terminated, NVIDIA or the Taipei city government will handle the urban plan change to merge the land use. Zhenshao did not respond to details due to the confidentiality agreement. News highlights: TSMC, 2330, before the legal conference tomorrow, a number of foreign securities are bullish, and the target price is generally raised. Morgan Stanley saw as high as 1,288 yuan, believing that strong AI demand will drive revenue growth. Macquarie raises its price target to RMB 1,282, emphasizing its leading edge in 2nm process technology. Citi's target price is $1,280, based on stable profit prospects and order visibility. Xiaomo gave 1,275 yuan, and it is estimated that the revenue will grow by nearly 20% in 2026. Goldman Sachs and Daiwa Capital gave 1,210 yuan and 1,200 yuan respectively, and some legal persons are still cautious and have low shareholdings. News highlights: in 2025, the global supercar race will enter a new era of horsepower, with the Nordic Koenigsegg Gemera topping the most powerful production car with 2,300 horsepower, followed by the Rimac Nevera R, Espargao, Lotus Evija and Pininfarina Battista with more than 1,900 horsepower. Supercars are no longer just about speed, they are the epitome of the brand's technology, design and future strategy, leading the world to an era of full electrification and perfection. News highlights: Typhoon Dennis hit southern Taiwan hard, and there were large-scale power outages in Chi and Tainan. An employee surnamed Li of Taipower was accidentally shocked by a high-voltage electric shock during a rush repair in Yizhou Township, Chi, and showed no signs of life on the spot, and was sent to Luying Chimei Hospital for emergency treatment, and is now on YEC membrane to maintain his life. Zhou Rongta, the premier, expressed his reluctance, instructed the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Taipower to fully assist the family, and demanded a thorough investigation into the cause of the accident, emphasizing that it is necessary to ensure the safety of personnel while rushing to repair. News highlights: internet celebrity lawyer Li Yao, Xianta lawyer, was involved in the Linggu Tower fraud case. His image was severely damaged, and he was suspected of being cut by the celebrity circle. The woman named the Imperial Lady accused her of joining forces with others. The 80-year-old wealthy businessman surnamed Wang defrauded as much as 40 ENS of millions, and exposed intimate photos of the two. It is rumored that the lawyer of Senta often participates in high-end dinners, and each time the cost is as high 18 to 300,000 yuan, and even asked for 250,000 yuan from a wealthy businessman on the day of the bail. She denied having a special relationship with a wealthy businessman, but the controversy continued. News highlights: director Cai Yuexun and actress Yu Xiaohui's 20-year-old daughter Cai Mufei held an outdoor wedding banquet with her British boyfriend Tyler in Zaizuan, Kaohsiung on the 15th. Although the two are divorced, they still attended the wedding banquet together and took a group photo, and the family of 6 was happy in the same frame. Yu Xiaohui said emotionally in his speech that the son-in-law promised that Mufei would continue to pursue his dreams, and marriage would not be an obstacle, and blessed the two to become partners in each other's dreams. News highlights: the Central Meteorological Administration pointed out that today, 16th, under the influence of southwest winds, the high temperature in Greater Taipei may reach 36 degrees Celsius, and there will be thunder showers in many places in the afternoon. The tropical system 96W located in the eastern part of the Philippines may develop into Typhoon number 6 Vipa on the 18th, and the closest to Taiwan from the 18th to the 19th. It is estimated that the weather in Taiwan will be unstable in the next few days, with southwest winds and tropical systems affecting in turn, so it is recommended that the public pay attention to sun protection, lightning showers, and continue to pay attention to the latest meteorological information. News highlights: Japanese star Shohei Ohtani and his wife Mamiko Tanaka attended the red carpet of the Major League All-Star Game for the first time. Ohtani chose to wear a blue suit to match her look, and laughed that the protagonist today is his wife. The sweet interaction between the two became the focus, showing their loving side. News highlights: Joe recently opened a Douyin account Joe, which attracted the attention of more than 21 million fans in a short time, but some Taiwanese netizens criticized him for don't use Taiwan health insurance. Cheap, a well-known internet celebrity, counterattacked, saying that Joe, who is worth tens of billions, does not need health insurance at all, and even ridiculed him for building his own hospital, Yehumei Medical Center. Netizens also left messages to name the department after Joe's song, laughing and saying Chrysanthemum Terrace will be broadcast according to the colonoscopy. The incident unexpectedly set off a wave of creative solitaire and irony among netizens. News highlights the executive yuan, Chuk Wing-tai, criticized the Legislative Yuan's Blue and White Alliance to pass the 10,000 yuan general distribution as unconstitutional and illegal, pointing out that the executive yuan was not consulted in accordance with the procedures of the Constitution and the budget law, and the remaining annual budget was only about 30 billion yuan, far less than the 230 billion yuan needed for universal distribution. He stressed the need to focus resources on post-disaster reconstruction rather than indiscriminate cash payments. Regarding the Blue Committee's statement that it would donate 10,000 yuan, the DPP bitterly criticized that donating money cannot cover up illegal activities, emphasizing that political responsibility cannot be evaded. The controversy sparked a fierce confrontation between executive and legislative competence and the legitimacy of the budgetary process. News highlights the Central Meteorological Administration released a tropical depression formation information this morning. The number 9 tropical depression is located at 13.8 degrees north latitude and 132.5 degrees east longitude, moving westward at a speed of 34 km per hour, and may strengthen into typhoon number 6 Vipa this year as soon as tomorrow, and is expected to pass the northern tip of Luzon Island and move towards the South China Sea. The Meteorological Department said that it is still far from being issued a coast alert, but it may still be issued if the track is northerly or the storm circle expands. From the 18th, Taiwan will be affected by external moisture, and there may be localized heavy rain or heavy rain in the east and the Hengchun Peninsula. News highlights in Pinghe Village, Shaofeng Township, Hualien, a fire broke out in a house covered with iron sheets in the early morning of the 16th, a couple escaped through a window, and 4 family members were unfortunately buried in the fire cave. The fire department sent 18 vehicles and 42 people to rescue, and the fire was brought under control within half an hour, but 4 people were obviously dead during the search and rescue. The victims are family members of the informant, including his parents, aunt, and sister. Due to the discrepancy between the reported location and the actual location of the fire, coupled with the remoteness and dispersion of the area, it is suspected that the rescue time will be affected, and the cause of the fire is still to be clarified. News highlights Zhou Taiying, the coach of the women's football team of Taiwan Normal University, was revealed to have forced students to participate in research, continuously drew blood and threatened to deduct credits, causing social outrage. The Ministry of Education investigated and found that it was school bullying and violated the human research law, and fined the university and suspended the right to review the research. The school only punished Zhou Taiying for 1 year, and dismissed the coach and administrator, causing controversy. Zhou Taiying is a legend of women's football, who has won the Asian Golden Boot Award and the West German and Japanese League championships, but the image of this incident has been severely damaged. News highlights moderate Typhoon Donas caused power outages in many places in Chi, and an accident occurred during the emergency repair of Taipower personnel. A 36-year-old employee surnamed Lee was seriously injured when repairing high-voltage electricity in Yazoo Township on the afternoon of the 15th, and lost his heartbeat on the spot. After the news was exposed, it aroused public attention and prayers, and his father also called on the outside world on Facebook to cheer for his son. News highlights when Miss Luo, a Taiwanese woman, returned to Taiwan from Hangzhou, she was fined 200,000 yuan by the customs for failing to declare the cornstarch sausage containing meat in her luggage. She later shared her experience on the internet and reminded everyone not to bring meat products into the country. According to the anti-inspection agency, instant noodles and canned food can be brought in after high-temperature sterilization, but vacuum-packed meat such as sausages and meat floss are prohibited, and many meatless foods such as 5-kernel mooncakes and phoenix rolls may also contain meat, so special attention should be taken. News highlights in recent years, a number of Taiwanese internet celebrities have been imprisoned one after another for illegal acts, which has attracted attention. Deng Jiahua was sentenced to 6 months in prison for secretly photographing the skirt of a female designer, and was recently imprisoned. Toys is serving a prison sentence for selling marijuana cartridges, and Xiao using AI to make an actress's face-swapping video. In addition, Goodnight Chick was sentenced to 2 years for falsifying the Cambodian kidnapping plot, Gino was sentenced to 4 years and 10 months for sexually assaulting a female live story, and Lian Qunyi was sentenced to 7 years in prison for organizing crime and shooting. Netizens were amazed and sighed, who will be next? News highlights U.S. media revealed that the Philippines is low-key strengthening defense and security cooperation with Taiwan in response to China's military expansion in the South China Sea. Philippine officials pointed out that Taiwan's security and Philippine national security are closely linked, and if China invades Taiwan by force, it will be difficult for the Philippines to stay out of the matter. Recently, the Philippines has relaxed restrictions on interaction with Taiwanese officials, and has conducted closed-door forums and joint patrols with the Taiwan side, indicating that the Philippine side is shifting its stance to a more proactive response to the Chinese threat. News highlights 40-year-old actress Jo Zio-han was photographed interacting intimately with Chen Yufu, the director of The Truth After the Crime, and a new relationship was rumored. The two visited the Doraemon exhibition first, and the next day they were seen wearing the same set of clothes in and out of her boudoir. Jo Zio-han has continued to work in recent years, and his emotional state has always been low-key. In this regard, the agent responded that the two were just friends with common interests and did not admit their relationship. Chen Yufu has not yet responded, causing concern from the outside world. News highlights the monsoon low-pressure area over the eastern part of the Philippines has intensified into a tropical depression and may develop into Typhoon No. 6 Vipa within 24 to 36 hours. Weather Risk said that Sunwapa will move towards the northern Luzon to the South Bus Strait, which is expected to be closest to Taiwan on Saturday. Although there is no direct invasion of Taiwan, there may be intermittent wind and rain in Huadong, Hengchun, and Jioping areas from Friday night, and continuous rain must be prevented in mountainous areas. The southern monsoon trough in Taiwan is active, and it is necessary to continue to pay attention to the subsequent development of the tropical system. News highlights U.S. President Donald Trump announced a trade deal with Indonesia to impose 19% tariffs on Indonesian imports and require Indonesia to have zero tariffs on U.S. products. Trump said Indonesia agreed to buy nearly $20 billion worth of U.S. energy, agricultural products, and Boeing aircraft. Trade between the two sides will be further opened, and the United States may give tariff preferences to Indonesia's high-quality copper. Indonesia has yet to make an official statement on this. News highlights former Daewon Mayor Zhang Binkan was involved in the bribery case, and the Daewon Prefectural Court opened the preparatory procedure for the 7th time yesterday, inspecting the minutes of 2 meetings in 2017, and confirming that the submission of major national construction was proposed by Su Wenlong, the then Director of Construction and Construction, and was not led by Zhang. The prosecution emphasized that the focus of the case was whether Zhang accepted a bribe of 5 million yuan in exchange for his official acts, and did not count the change procedure. Zhang denied the consideration relationship, saying that the city government had no decision-making power and was administered in accordance with the law. The lawyers' team accused the indictment of misinterpreting the timing and content of the meeting, emphasizing that there was no evidence that Zhang had profited or led the change. The whole case is still under trial, which has aroused concern from all walks of life. News highlights Deng Jiahua was sentenced to 6 months in prison for secretly photographing the skirts of female designers in a hair salon in 2023, and was sentenced to prison on July 10 because he could not afford to pay a fine of 180,000 yuan. Xia Piyuan, the owner of the hair salon who supported him at the beginning, angrily denounced Deng for being ungrateful, criticized him for lying about receiving 60,000 yuan a month, but it was actually 30,000 yuan, and broke the news that he was serving a prison sentence in a public dialogue record, and condemned Deng for only caring about women and for getting friends in good times. This case has aroused widespread concern in the community. News highlights a pair of conjoined sisters from Mexico and the United States, although they share the pelvis and reproductive organs. Carmen recently married her boyfriend of nearly 5 years in a low-key manner, which has become a rare case of marriage. The sisters have independent hearts and lungs, and have different lives and personalities, and Carmen has lived with her sisters and husband after marriage, and the three have established a good relationship model. She admits that she has no plans to have children and is happy to keep pets. The news of marriage challenges traditional ethics and draws attention to the legitimacy and social perception of conjoined twin marriages. News highlights when using air conditioners in summer, it is recommended to set the wind direction to horizontal, as the cold air will already sink, which can avoid the discomfort of temperature difference caused by hot at the top and cold at the bottom and improve the efficiency of power saving. It is recommended that the fan be placed with its back to the air outlet to push the cold air to the corner of the room to achieve an even cooling effect. If you feel that the direct blowing is too cold, you can blow the fan towards the wall and use the reflected air to improve the body feeling. In winter, the wind should be directed downwards so that the warm air is concentrated in the lower body to improve the warmth effect. News highlights Zhang Hui's Nun, Yes concert was held for the 3rd time at Kaohsiung Arena, and after a short break, it was rare not to taboo it, ate all Kaohsiung food, and frankly gained 2 kilograms. She sang a number of classic golden songs, and paired the 68-year-old Minghing Pavilion puppet show with a play in the afternoon to deeply commemorate her deceased father and tear the audience. Her father was a puppet master and accompanied her to grow up. During the concert, fans enthusiastically shouted encore, and Zhang Hui responded with emotion, showing up to deliver classic songs, and the atmosphere was warm and touching. News highlights 31-year-old mainland actor Hu Yishan became popular for To Our Simple Little Beauty, but in recent years, the number of drama appointments has decreased, and he revealed that he has not filmed for 2 years. Recently, he was photographed by the public wearing a McDonald's delivery man uniform, suspected of changing careers, causing fans to worry. However, some netizens found that he took selfies many times when delivering food, and some staff followed him, presumably because of the program or advertising shooting. Hu Yishan then announced that the new drama Genius Girlfriend will start filming and will play a cold school bully, so fans can rest assured. News highlights 38-year-old Japanese photo actress Megami Hara15th on the show. Goten announced that he was married without warning, and the news shocked the audience and sparked heated discussions. She revealed that the marriage news had been kept secret for a long time, and she didn't even know about her relatives and friends, so she chose to hide it because she didn't trust her relatives and friends very much. Subsequently, she was also their IG released good news, thanking fans for their support and promising to continue to work hard. Megami Haraganji is known for its good figure after 2017, he transformed to focus on career and public welfare, and the news of this marriage surprised and blessed fans. News highlights Joe recently opened a new account Joe on Douyin in mainland China, attracting more than 20 million fans in just a few days, and his first video received more than 15 million likes. Some Taiwanese netizens were dissatisfied with his management of the Chinese community and shouted "Don't use Taiwan health insurance," which was countered by a large number of netizens, believing that Dong Zhou, who is worth tens of billions, does not need to rely on health insurance at all. Internet celebrity Cheap responded humorously that Joe has enough financial resources to buy a hospital, and even used his song name to name each department, and netizens also used creative messages to ridicule the people and misunderstand health insurance, and the atmosphere was lively and interesting. News highlights senior actor Wu Bojun was diagnosed with ALS in 2018, and his condition gradually deteriorated and he needed to stay in bed for a long time. He passed away peacefully on July 2 at the age of 69. The widow thanked the artists in all walks of life for their long-term care and donation support through the former deputy director of TVB, and said that Wu Bojun confessed before his death that he did not want to disturb others, and only announced the news after his death. Xue Jiayan, Zhao Yazi, Zhang Jiawei and others have generously donated money to help medical treatment. Zheng Xingming has also visited him many times, thanking him for his strong spirit. News highlights internet celebrity Goodnight Chick, Chen Ningchuan, was sentenced to 2 years in prison in 2024 for directing and acting in a Cambodian fraud case, and was recently accused by Chen Nu, the head of Dingji Biotech, of acting as an agent for a large amount of unpaid goods through Yongfu International, and Yongfu International and Hokiao Company were also accused of defaulting huge sums of money. Goodnight Chicken's Hesui Company originally reached a repayment agreement, but refused to pay after only 2 installments, and even sent a letter to abuse Chen Nu, which caused Chen Nu's capital turnover difficulties and the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Both parties have appointed lawyers to file a lawsuit, and the dispute continues to expand. News highlights from the end of July to the beginning of August, the fortunes of the dragon, monkey, and dog of the zodiac will be significantly improved, and they will be assisted by nobles. Dragons attract nobles with their talents, and they need to remain humble and work as a team. Monkey people are flexible and adaptable, and are suitable for social interaction and encounter key guidance. Dog people are willing to work hard to receive help, and should take the initiative to seek help to avoid overwork. These traits help them to thrive in the competitive workplace. News highlights Lin Zhija, a law professor at Yangming Jiaotong University, accused Hsinchu Mayor Gao Honggan and acting Mayor Chu Chenyuan of violating administrative neutrality by using the city's resources to oppose the recall, and has reported to the ICAC, saying that they have received the results of the investigation confirming the violation. However, the city government refuted it as a rumor and did not receive the relevant letter. Lin Zhija stressed that the relevant information has been transferred to the Procuratorate, questioning the private use of public instruments by the municipal government, and calling on the mayor to understand the political-style investigation on his own. The People's Party's Chan Chi-han questioned the fact that the ICAC is not an illegal agency and should be investigated by the Political Conduct Department, and criticized the ICAC's reply to the letter as not open and transparent. News highlights today, 16th. Under the influence of southwest winds, there will be localized brief showers or thunderstorms south of Mili and Penghu, and other areas will be cloudy to clear, with localized thunder showers in the afternoon. The tropical depression TD08 continued to move northward towards Japan and had no impact on Taiwan. Lin Jiakai, a weather anchor of MINTF, pointed out that the sea depression in the east of the Philippines may strengthen into a tropical depression or typhoon in recent days, and it is expected to pass through the Bass Strait on the 18th and move towards Guangdong, China. News highlights Red Bean Restaurant daughter Cai Yushin and Kuomintang Vice Chairman Lin Shengwen married in 2006 and have 2 sons. She recently shared a video of breakfast egg roll showdown on Instagram, in which Lin Shengwen laughed at himself as an AI robot in the kitchen, obediently carrying out his wife's instructions, but missed the reminder to turn off the fire many times, which made Cai Yushin can't help but shout the fire is going to be turned off. The real and funny interaction between husband and wife has aroused enthusiastic responses from netizens, and everyone has knocked on the bowl in the hope of seeing more challenging content. News highlights there are only 10 days left before the general recall vote on the 26th, but Zhao Xiaokong, the leader of the Blue Battalion fighting, said that he would travel to East Africa that day, and the travel expenses had already been paid, which aroused heated discussions among netizens. Some netizens thought that the Blue Camp recall case was stable, and Zhao Cai dared to travel with confidence, and even ridiculed him as a senior person going abroad and voting for the low end, reflecting the difference in Chenlan's attitude towards the recall case. Zhao Xiaokang's itinerary cannot be changed, and if his relatives and friends do not vote, it may make the minority votes of the blue camp support, which will become the key to the recall war. News highlights the general recall entered a critical stage, and people in Hualien Yuli were interviewed by the police and asked for their names and phone numbers because they hung billboards to oust Kuomintang legislator Fu Kunking, causing panic. Hualien councillor Chung Meiwei questioned the police's move as checking the water meter, which caused fear among the public. The police responded that the flag was checked for the purpose of planning services and preventing vandalism, and did not ask for personal information, and had been reviewed and improved, and no more personal information should be asked for in the future to avoid misunderstanding. News highlights the coach of the women's football team of Taiwan Normal University is suspected of threatening students with credits to cooperate with blood drawing research, and the school has not apologized for half a year after the incident was exposed. Recently, a student mentioned this incident on Threads, but Lu Jinsang, associate professor of the Department of Sports and Competition, choked back, "Does the whole university have to apologize to you?" This remark aroused the anger of netizens, who poured into its social platform to wash and criticize, questioning its inappropriate response, and demanding a sincere apology from the university and relevant personnel. News highlights the writer Ku Ling has been in poor health in recent years, suffering from hepatitis B, depression, and a tumor in his liver, which makes him feel very painful. Recently, he revealed on Facebook that his body often hurts, and a few days ago, he suddenly had severe pain in his acupoints, and he relied on adrenaline to survive a busy day. He said frankly that there is not much left of my life and expressed his wish, "I hope that in my lifetime, I will not see Taiwan fall into the hands of the Chinese bandits," which aroused the attention and discussion of netizens. News highlights TSMC will hold a press conference on the 17th to announce its second quarter earnings report and outlook for the third quarter of 2025. The company's estimate of US dollar revenue for the second quarter was about $30.3 billion, beating expectations, but the appreciation of the NTD could affect margins. Revenue in the third quarter is expected to continue to exceed $30 billion US dollars, and the full-year US dollar revenue growth is expected to be revised upwards from 25% to about 35%, driven by Apple's new devices and AI demand. Capital expenditures remain in the range of $38 billion to $42 billion, and are expected to increase to $40 billion to $45 billion in 2026, with a focus on advanced manufacturing processes and the construction of new factories in the United States. The influx of orders from customers in the US and the acceleration of mass production of the 2nm process in the second half of the year have led to the market's concern about the impact of new plant operations on gross profit. News highlights in June this year, the Taiwan Affairs Office of the State Council announced that it would list DPP legislator Shen Boyang as a Taiwan independence diehard and punish his father, Shen Dujin's affiliated company, Trillion Co., Ltd. Today, July 16, it announced the abolition of the company's registration with the mainland customs, stressing that Taiwan independence elements will never be allowed to support separatist activities while making money on the mainland. Chen Binhua, spokesman for the Taiwan Affairs Office of the State Council, pointed out that this is a powerful blow to the Taiwan independence forces and warned that the Taiwan independence elements will pay a heavy price. News highlights on the eve of TSMC's legal conference, Taiwan stocks broke through the 23,000 point barrier strongly on the 16th, and gold stocks generally rose. Taiwan optoelectronics soared above 1,000 yuan in intraday trading, showing strong momentum, with revenue increasing by 45.6% year-on-year in the second quarter, benefiting from the demand for AI and high-end server materials. World chip KY hit a new high in the band, and foreign investors are optimistic about the growth brought by the popularization of its automotive AI chips in ADAS, with a target price of 4,088 yuan. On the other hand, Wang Xinhua's stock price fell to 4,800 yuan due to high-end pressure, although foreign investors are still optimistic about the long-term growth of its AI server management chip market, but the short-term adjustment pressure is obvious. The overall market sentiment is optimistic, but the volatility of stock prices has intensified. News highlights the Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee of the Legislative Yuan held a meeting on the 16th to discuss the progress of the negotiations on reciprocal tariffs between the United States. Yan Huixin, Deputy Chief Negotiator of the Economic and Trade Negotiation Office of the Executive Yuan, said that Taiwan is the first wave of negotiations with the United States, and has not yet received a letter on the new tax rate. Taiwan and the United States have completed 3 rounds of physical consultations, and the two sides agreed to reach an agreement by August 1, with the focus of the negotiations on safeguarding industrial interests, food security, and national health, and promoting the optimization of the economic and trade system and the strengthening of supply chain resilience. Yan Huixin stressed that the U.S. side is eager to reduce the trade deficit, the pace of negotiations is fast, and Taiwan will continue to strive for a mutually beneficial result. News highlights the Trump administration recently allowed Nvidia and AMD to resume sales of some AI chips to Chinese mainland, reversing export restrictions imposed earlier this year. White House AI advisor Sachs and U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent pointed out that this move will help the United States improve its overseas competitiveness, prevent Huawei from growing in the Chinese market, and be an important bargaining chip in U.S. China trade negotiations. Sachs stressed that the chips sold were obsolete and did not pose a threat to national security, and warned that restricting sales could cause other countries to switch to Chinese technology. This policy adjustment comes with months of diplomatic negotiations and trade ceasefire agreements between the two sides, and the exchange of rare earth minerals and chip exports between the two sides is relaxed, indicating that the U.S. China trade talks continue to advance. News highlights: a house covered with iron sheets in Pinghe Village, Shaofeng Township, Hualien, caught fire in the early morning of the 16th, and the fire spread rapidly. Of the 6 residents in the house, only the woman surnamed Su and her husband jumped out of the window in time to escape, and their parents, sister, and aunt died because they could not escape. The fire brigade arrived 23 minutes later after receiving the notification, and was questioned by the public about the delay in the rescue, and the fire department said that the search time increased due to the discrepancy in address information. The cause of the fire is still to be investigated, and the village chief pointed out that the local house number is complicated and the rescue is difficult. The fire at the scene was fierce, and the fire rescue continued. News highlights: an injury case caused by an emotional dispute occurred late at night in Taichung's North District on 15. An 18-year-old female student surnamed Lin was stabbed in the neck and right finger by her ex-boyfriend with a sharp weapon. The man fled on a motorcycle after committing the murder, and the police identified the suspect based on the surveillance camera and license plate number, and have arrested him in the north. The injured woman has been taken to hospital for non-life-threatening treatment. Local residents said that the law and order in the area was chaotic, and they heard quarrels at the time of the incident, and the police are continuing to investigate the case. News highlights: Typhoon Donas damaged about 145,000 photovoltaic panels in the central and southern parts of the country, and Environment Minister Peng Kaiming stressed that these photovoltaic panels are industrial waste, not hazardous waste. 14th, the Ministry of Environment has visited Chi, Tainan Detention Pond and Fish Farm to test the water quality, and the results are all in line with environmental standards and have no impact on the environment. Peng Kaiming said that for among the 10 kinds of heavy metal detection, half of them were zero, and the other contents were in line with the standard, and the composition of the photoelectric panels was non-toxic, liquid-free, and recyclable, calling on the public not to worry about environmental safety. News highlights: Taiwanese actress Guo Biding's husband Xiang Zhou was recently sued for a gambling debt of 1.4 million Hong Kong dollars owed to a Macau casino, and the news attracted attention. However, on the 16th, the casino hurriedly clarified that Xiang Zhou was only a third-party guarantor, not a debtor, and the arrears had been fully repaid, and the relevant legal procedures had been terminated. The casino also apologized to Xiang Zhou for the trouble caused by the previous report, emphasizing that it will not respond to this matter in the future. News highlights: Huida plans to set up its Taiwan headquarters in Baitishilan Science and Technology Park, Baishike, which is located as the T-17 and T-18 bases in the park, which are owned by Shin Kong Life. The Taipei city government hopes that Xinjiao will agree to terminate the contract with the city government, and then follow the approval process of the Ministry of the Interior to create superficial rights to NVIDIA through the Land Acquisition Ordinance project. Xinjiao has expressed its willingness to transfer the superficial rights, but the city government has stressed that the contract restrictions need to be terminated first. In response to the Ministry of the Interior's response that the city government can formulate its own project measures, Vice Mayor Li Sichuan said that it is expected to complete the revision within 1 to 2 months and continue to negotiate. Huang Zhengxuan, CEO of Huida, pointed out that the hinterland of Baishike is moderate, and the construction of the park is planned to start as soon as possible, and the park is close to a number of medical and academic institutions, and is a cluster of smart health and digital technology industries. News highlights: the Asia Asset Management Center will be based in Kaohsiung on July 22 to democratize private equity and attract high-net-worth clients to invest in alternative assets, including private equity, real estate funds and infrastructure. Cathay United Bank held a forum on the 14th, inviting Macquarie and Apollo executives to share trends, pointing out that alternative assets have become the core of the portfolio due to low liquidity and stable returns, and the global scale is expected to triple in 7 to 8 years. As U.S. pension plans consider including private equity assets, Taiwan's efforts to promote local private equity funds and strengthen supervision and education will help retain funds, build a private equity ecosystem, meet the subtractive financial needs of high-net-worth customers, and rely on a professional team to control risks. News highlights: U.S. President Donald Trump announced an agreement with Indonesia to reduce tariffs on U.S. exports to Indonesia from 32% to 19%, while U.S. exports to Indonesia are duty-free, becoming the 4th country to reach such an agreement after Vietnam, the United Kingdom, and China. This move has attracted market attention, and the stock prices of NVIDIA and TSMC ADR have continued to rise, but Trump has not yet announced Taiwan-related tariff measures, which has attracted great attention from Taiwanese companies. Wall Street experts believe that Trump may announce the tariffs in a phased manner to pressure other countries to speed up negotiations. The new tariffs will take effect on August 1, and Trump has warned that they will impose higher tariffs if they retaliate, to which Japan and South Korea have responded positively. This wave of tariff negotiations is seen as an important bellwether for global trade. News highlights: a 35-year-old mother in Delaware, USA, turned to ChatGPT for help due to postpartum depression and financial pressure, and her credit card debt accumulated to $23,000. The AI created a repayment tracker and daily tasks for her to help her pay off her debts step by step and learn a side hustle to earn money, and she has paid off $12,000 by July 2025. She said that ChatGPT not only provides advice on making money, but also helps her build a positive mindset and become an important life-changing help. Similar cases include people who have successfully lost weight by using ChatGPT to make a diet plan. News highlights: 2025 is a rare auspicious year of double spring and leap June, but folklore experts remind that leap June falls at the end of August of the national calendar. Yin and yang energy is chaotic, and 4 taboos should be avoided. 1. Avoid visiting cemeteries and other places with heavy yin qi at night. 2. Don't touch unsolicited prayers. 3. Don't move unless necessary. 4. Weddings and funerals should be low-key. Due to the overlap of leap June and the 7th lunar month, if you accidentally touch the taboo for fear of bad luck twice, you should be cautious and choose the consecration offering to ensure safety. News highlights: a boys' school football team in North City broke out in a candid shooting and bullying incident. A player was secretly taken nude photos while taking a shower and uploaded to the group, and the school only remembered the photographer as a minor mistake, causing dissatisfaction among parents, and accusing the coach of publishing the victim's name when advocating for the second degree of injury. Another parent revealed that the team has been militarized for a long time, and there are frequent reports of bullying by seniors and coaches. The North City Education Bureau and the school emphasized that they have reported and investigated in accordance with the law, emphasized zero tolerance for bullying, and continued to track the progress of the incident. News highlights: a 35-year-old mother in Delaware, USA, turned to ChatGPT for help due to postpartum depression and financial pressure, and her credit card debt accumulated to $23,000. The AI created a repayment tracker and daily tasks for her to help her pay off her debts step by step and learn a side hustle to earn money, and she has paid off $12,000 by July 2025. She said that ChatGPT not only provides advice on making money, but also helps her build a positive mindset and become an important life-changing help. Similar cases include people who have successfully lost weight by using ChatGPT to make a diet plan. News highlights: an 18-year-old woman surnamed Lin negotiated with her 23-year-old ex-boyfriend Xiaonan due to emotional disputes, and in the process, Xiaonan suddenly scratched Lin's neck and fingers with a knife and escaped. The police followed the line and arrested Xiaonan in Dujin, New Taipei City, but he was agitated and could not be brought back for interrogation immediately, and the whole case will be investigated according to the suspicion of injury. After Lin was sent to the hospital, she was treated with sutures, but fortunately there was no life-threatening condition. The police have been informed of the case and are continuing to investigate. News highlights: senior Hong Kong star Wu Bojan died at home on July 2, 2024 at the age of 69 due to ALS, who was bedridden for 7 years, and his family completed the farewell ceremony on July 14 after low-key treatment. Wu has starred in dramas such as Smiling Proud Jianghu, and after 1997, he faded out of the showbiz and changed to a cleaner. During his illness, he received assistance from insiders such as Andy Lau, Zhang Jiawei, and Xue Jiayan. The family said that Wu did not want to trouble others before his death, so he postponed the announcement of his death and hoped for the understanding and blessing of all sectors of society. News highlights: Mr. Zhang, 66, has experienced symptoms such as weight loss, loss of appetite and jaundice in the past 6 months, and was found to have end-stage cholangiocarcinoma, with tumors in his liver and suspected lung metastases. Doctors begin with external drainage to relieve jaundice, then switch to endoscopy to reduce the risk of infection and order chemotherapy. Doctors remind high-risk groups to have regular check-ups, avoid eating raw food, and stay away from tobacco, alcohol, and chemicals to reduce the risk of cancer. News highlights: with only 2 weeks left before the August 1 tariff deadline set by U.S. President Donald Trump, the US-Taiwan tariff talks are still ongoing. Chen Mingqi, political secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, said that it is still impossible to disclose the specific tax rate, and the two sides are actively communicating, and the negotiations cannot be said to be optimistic but will do their best. Yan Huixin, deputy representative of the Economic and Trade Negotiations Office, pointed out that the goal is to strive for tariffs that are not higher than those of Japan and South Korea, deny that the issue of arms sales will affect the negotiations, and emphasize that focusing on the essence of economy and trade, the United States is mainly concerned about reducing the trade deficit. News highlights: a fire broke out in a tin-covered house in Shaofeng Township, Hualien in the early hours of this morning. A family of 6 suffered a fire robbery, only the husband and wife escaped through the window, and the parents, sister, and aunt were unfortunately killed. When the fire brigade arrived at the scene, the fire was fierce, and almost the entire house was in flames, making rescue difficult. According to the preliminary understanding, The error in the location of the report caused a delay of about 5 minutes. The scene of the accident has been blocked, and the cause of the fire is still to be investigated and clarified. News highlights: the coach of the women's football team of Taiwan Normal University is suspected of forcing students to participate in blood drawing research for up to 14 days, and even taking blood multiple times a day. After the incident broke out, the coach was only lightly punished and not suspended, causing controversy. Recently, the victim student posted an article, and was choked by Professor Liu Jinzhang's message, which caused public outrage. The university eventually issued a 6-point apology, emphasizing that the study had been terminated, the funds had been returned, and promising to amend the system, compensate students, and improve the research ethics process. The Ministry of Education will consider the appropriateness of the sanction. News highlights: American superstar Bruno Mars made a surprise appearance on Blackpink's Los Angeles tour on the 13th, singing "Apt" with Rose. On the 15th, he humorously revealed in the community that he paid off almost all debts, causing fans to burst into laughter. In 2024, it was rumored that he had gambling debts of more than $50 million, and fans jokingly called him out to pay off his debts during his tour last year. In January this year, he collaborated with Rose on "Apt", becoming the first male singer on Spotify to break 150 million monthly listeners. Fans laughed at him and stopped gambling and looked forward to his continued good performance. News highlights: Macro was once a pioneer of large-scale membership-based wholesale stores in Taiwan, and entered the Taiwan market in 1990, with 12 branches at its peak and an annual revenue of 6 billion yuan in Niahu stores. However, due to the remoteness of most of the stores in industrial areas, and the membership restrictions are different from those of competitors, it is difficult to meet Taiwan's consumption habits, and finally in 2003, it was completely withdrawn from Taiwan and more than 700 employees were laid off. Recently, netizens shared Macro photos on social platforms, causing many 7th and 8th graders to recall their childhood shopping and part-time work experiences, evoking the collective memory of a generation. News highlights: at more than 4 o'clock this morning, a car crashed into the fence of a private house in Section 3, Dujin Road, New Taipei City, and the female driver surnamed Guo lost control and hit the guardrail for unknown reasons in 89 years, and her chin was torn and there was internal bleeding, and she has not yet recovered consciousness and has been sent to the hospital for treatment. The police and fire department quickly arrived at the scene to assist in the escape, and the cause of the accident is still under investigation. The police reminded passers-by to abide by traffic rules, pay attention to driving safety, and ensure the safety of themselves and others. News highlights: Deliver It, a parcel carrier in the western United States, serving California, Arizona, and Nevada, is known for its next-day delivery, and recently announced the closure of operations and the start of bankruptcy liquidation without warning. The company was financially troubled due to a compulsory bankruptcy application filed by creditors, and the bank froze a $20 million credit line, resulting in a breakdown of funds. Deliver It agreed to enter Chapter 7 bankruptcy proceedings on July 8, and the court approved the liquidation. Experts pointed out that the U.S. parcel market is highly competitive and too fragmented, and more operators will withdraw or consolidate in the future. News highlights: Taiwan offers a number of international art exhibitions during the summer vacation, including contemporary installations, classic paintings, and interactive immersive experiences. In the north, there are Olafur Eliassen's Curious Journey, Monet, and Impressionist Authentic Works, Turner Masters Touring Exhibition, and works from the Metropolitan Museum of Art and Yoshitomo Nara. The Songshan Cultural and Creative Park offers 3D ukiyo-e and Bologna illustration exhibitions. In the central part, there is a digital interaction of light and shadow, while in the south, there are ukiyo-e paintings in the southern courtyard of the National Palace Museum in Taipei, an exhibition of Dutch paintings at the Chimay Museum, a triennial of architecture in Tainan, and a special video exhibition of Tsai Ming-ming's 10 Steps of a Walker, sharing a rich cultural feast. News highlights: the Chinese King Zhou recently took a photo with the K-Wave King G-Dragon at home, and the background was Picasso's famous painting Musketeer with a Sword, with an auction price of more than NT $100 million, which aroused the amazement of fans. Zhou has been collecting Picasso works since 2021, has taken photos with several famous paintings from the Musketeer series, and served as the curator of Sotheby's Asia. His collection is worth hundreds of millions of Taiwan dollars, showing that he is not only a music superstar, but also deeply involved in the field of art, and is rumored to be worth more than 10 billion yuan. News highlights: Taiwan's two major professional basketball leagues, TPBL and PLG, negotiated cooperation in the Legislative Yuan today, and confirmed that next season will be 7+3, a total of 10 teams to cooperate, adopting the first cooperation and then merger model, and signed a letter of intent to plan and handle the joint draft of newcomers. Last year, due to the merger of the competition system, this year, under the possible withdrawal of PLG Steelers, the two sides re-evaluated the possibility of cooperation. The new season will show a new situation of league cooperation, and the joint draft and schedule will be adjusted simultaneously. News highlights: Zheng Piyin, former deputy director of the Bade branch of Dawen City, When chasing a drunk driver surnamed Wu in 2020, Wu Nan reversed and collided with the police car many times, and the police shot 5 times to stop it, and 2 shots hit the passenger Yang Nu in the car, and she was sent to the hospital for treatment. The family accused the police of negligent death, and they were acquitted in both the first and second trials, and the Supreme Court rejected the appeal on the 16th and upheld the acquittal verdict. The court found that the police were in a desperate situation and that the shooting was not excessive. News highlights on July 26 and August 23, 26 recall votes against KMT legislators will be held in Taiwan, officially entering the final voting stage. Eligible electors are required to bring along their identity card and CHOP, or signature/fingerprint, and are advised to bring along a polling notice. For a recall to stand, more votes must be yes than disagree, and more than 1/4 of the total electorate in the constituency must be approved. It is forbidden to publish incomplete polls from 10 days before the polling day, and from 10 o'clock the night before the polling day. On the day of voting, it is forbidden to canvass for votes, assist in elections, make public statements, wear party uniforms, and bring unturned mobile phones into the station, otherwise they can be punished in accordance with the law. News highlights: Typhoon Dennis and low pressure brought heavy rain to Zhonghua Lukang, and the century-old monument Tianho Temple was flooded to the knees. In the past 5 years, Lukang has flooded more than 15 times a year, and the drainage system of 30 years ago has long been unable to cope with extreme weather. Greenpeace warned as early as 2023 that Lukang could become a disappearing cultural landscape. The temple and residents are calling for the construction of new drainage facilities, pumping stations, and detention ponds, and the county government is also pushing forward with related projects to rebuild Lukang into a cultural town that will no longer be flooded.